Once upon a time, there was a small businessman named Joseph. He used to live with his family in a small town located in the vicinity of a desert. He had a beautiful wife, a little son, and old parents in his family. But he was not happy with his life. Every now and then, he used to get worried and kept thinking about his problems. He was not getting much orders in his business and also found it difficult to pay off the bills. More than that, watching his parents grow old used to bother him a lot. He found it difficult to focus in the present and always contemplated why his life is full of problems. Once a monk from a nearby monastery came along with a caravan of 100 camels and decided to stay in his town for a few days. In no time, there were talks all around the place that the monk solves the problem of people with his teachings and wisdom. Joseph also learned about the same through people around him and decided to go and meet the monk. Joseph went to the hall where the monk was going to address all his devotees. Once he reached the hall, he found that the monk was sitting alone in a room and his devotees were one by one coming in the hall. Joseph decided to meet the monk when he was alone. He went to the monk's room and said, "Master, I have a lot of problems in my life. I think life is unfair to me and one after the other unwanted situations keep coming my way. I am not able to live peacefully. I keep on thinking about my problems and with each passing day, my life is getting worse. Can you please help me?" The monk looked at Joseph warmly and said, "Joseph, I understand your feelings, but I cannot answer your queries today. I'll answer all your questions tomorrow." Joseph felt really upset after listening to the monk's word. He came there to seek the monk's guidance. As Joseph was about to leave, the monk said, "Joseph, can you help me with the small thing?" Joseph immediately agreed to help the monk. He was curious and wanted to know about the help that the monk wanted to seek from him. "Look, my child Joseph, there are 100 of camels in our caravan. The caretaker of them is not in a good health today. I want you to take care of my camels tonight. Make sure that all the camels sit down and take proper rest. When all the 100 camels will sit down, then you can also go and sleep." After guiding Joseph, the monk went to his tent. The next morning, the monk met Joseph and asked, "My child, I hope you were able to sleep peacefully last night." Joseph felt sad and replied, "No, I could not sleep even for a single moment, Master. I tried my best, but could not make all the camels sit down." The monk smiled and said, "I knew this would be the outcome. So far, it has never happened that all these camels sit together." Joseph asked in distress, "Then why did you ask me to do this, Master?" The monk replied, "Joseph, did you ponder what you experienced last night? No matter how hard you tried or the efforts you had put to make all the camels sit, they did not sit together. Once you tried to make the camels on one side sit, you will find the camels on the other side is standing again." Joseph said, "Yes, Master, you are right. That's exactly what was happening. But what correlation does this have with my problems?" The monk continued, "Joseph, similarly in life, we cannot solve all our problems. When you solve one problem, then for some unknown reason, you will find problems keep coming in your life. As long as we are alive, the problems keep on arriving, sometimes small, sometimes big. We need to learn the art of living with them. You cannot avoid them." Joseph was listening to the monk's words silently and nodded in understanding. The monk continued, "Joseph, the last night you might have noticed one thing. There were camels that sat down themselves. For a few, you had to put in some extra efforts to make them sit, while There were few that did not sit no matter how hard you tried. Joseph confirmed, "Yes, master, exactly the same thing happened last night." The monk smiled and said, "Also, when you went back after some time, you would have noticed that the camels that did not sit even after your enormous efforts have now sat down themselves." Joseph's eyes widened and replied, "Yes, it's true, master." Monk then said, "Similarly, in our life, camels represent problems. Some problems get solved by themselves, some get solved with our efforts, while there are a few problems that do not get solved, no matter how much efforts we put in. One has to trust the timings of life and leave such problems on time. When the right time comes, these problems get resolved by themselves." Listening to the monk's words, Joseph now understood the whole narrative of the task given to him. He had developed a new perspective of looking at his life's problem. The monk explained further and said, "We all are just another uncertainty in this infinite singularity. Problems will continue to exist as long as life remains. But that doesn't mean one keeps thinking about the problems all day long. For a child, buying a new toy is a problem. For a teen, getting good grades is a problem. For a married man, managing the expenses and paying off his bills is a problem. The magnitude of problems cannot be defined by size alone. It differs according to individual perceptions, circumstances, locations, and individuals involved. So the next time when you question yourself, 'Why me?' always remember one thing. You are not alone. Everyone has their own share of problems." The monk looked at Joseph, smiled, and blessed him. As the monk mentioned in this motivational story, an individual has to endure the problems as long as life exists. Simply put your best efforts to solve those problems. Just don't keep thinking about it. If that would be the case, then the caretaker of camels could never sleep. Even after you have put in all your efforts and the problem still persists and you have no control over it, then keep such problems aside and enjoy life. When the time will come, those problems will get solved in the blink of an eye. Be grateful to God for what He has already given to you, and slowly you will find that the problems and sufferings will vanish. Take out time from your busy schedule to show gratitude for all the things you have in your life. If you have learned something from this video, do share it with us in the comment section below. Share it with your friends and family and spread the teachings of Buddhism.